Well, and
so I think what's going to happen, and it's already happened, and they're not telling you this, is behind the scenes, the Treasury is printing bonds. They are handing them over to the privately owned Fed, who then say, here are the credits in your account for the bonds that we just purchased. The bonds that were purchased by the Fed from the Treasury, that money to do that is a bookkeeping entry. They don't have that money. They make it, they can conceive it out of thin air. And
I don't want to fail to mention also that there was a failure of a bank, Silver Falls Bank of Silverton, Oregon, this past Friday also. Let's go to Joe in Arkansas. Joe, you're on the air with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you, Joyce. Yeah, this is my question. As I understand, this is the Obama economic plan. Obama wants to borrow $1 trillion for the stimulus. He wants to hugely expand the size of the government. And at the same time, he wants to give everybody a $65 a month tax cut. He wants to cut the deficit in half. And production will continue to move to foreign countries, and Americans will continue to lose productive private sector jobs. Somehow that doesn't seem to me like sustainable economics. Do I see things right, or does Obama have some kind of financial genius that I don't understand?
Good point.
You are absolutely right, and you are the genius. He isn't. And we all know where this is going to end up, and that's in a ditch. And the reason they're doing what they're doing is to extend the timeline on the conditions that they're in to the time that is most propitious for them to pull the plug out of this thing. And all of the things that you've mentioned are the antithesis of what they should be doing. And they should purge the system. But they don't want to do that because they have something else in mind. And they created the problem in the system because they want to work toward the things we've been discussing earlier in the program, and that is world government.
Oh, Joe, you're right on top of it. Thank you very much for the phone call. Mike in, let's see, New York, is it, Mike? Go ahead, please. You're on with Bob Chapman.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi there.
First-time caller.
All right, Dave, first-time caller here. Welcome to the Power Hour.
I've been listening to you guys for probably 6 months or so now, faithfully, just about every day.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Along with Bob Chapman and Alex Jones and some other shows. But anyway, I have what I would see that's a very important question. If all this fiat currency is going to eventually fall and gold's going to be the norm, most likely, who's like people like us, like the working class people, going to be able to bring our gold to if we have it to spend it? I mean, who is there? I mean, the stores.
Okay, let me go to Bob Chapman. Bob, where can we spend this gold if we do go purchase it?
Well,
I mean, how are they going to know it's real? You know, whoever we bring it to.
Well, that's what's so important about coins, because they're recognizable. A British sovereign, a U.S. $20 gold piece, an American gold or silver eagle. People know what they are, and when you have a time of economic and financial stress, perhaps people no longer want to accept dollars or any other currency, but they'll trade and barter a bushel of green beans for one sovereign or whatever. And there will always be a market.
So you're saying
there will be dealers too.
The mentality will just kind of switch over automatically probably to gold and silver.
And you know, if you've gone into any country after a war, you see it in spades. You know, I was, and mind you, I wasn't in Germany after the war until the early 1950s, and the war had been over for 6 or 7 years, and there was still a flourishing black market. And so, and once they got on their feet after 1960, the black market disappeared. There wasn't any reason to have a black market anymore. But, you know, human beings adapt very quickly, and I can promise you there will always be a market for those coins.
I think probably what you're going to find is that people are going to immediately start scrambling for gold and silver because the dollar won't have any value to it. And only the people that have gold and silver are going to be the ones that are able to barter or trade or whatever.
Absolutely. We're going to have to take a break. We'll be back in just about 3 minutes with more of the news they just can't stand you hearing. This is Dave.
Joy.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Monday edition of the Power Hour. Coming up on 55 minutes past the hour, whatever hour you're sitting in, this is Dave.
Joyce, and I thank you for joining us in the Power Hour. Just a couple of headlines for you. Desperate Gordon Brown in the UK seeks to stop the total collapse of banks. The Prime Minister plans to inject another $723 billion. The BBC reports that the EU heads back financial clampdown. Heads of 8 European countries pledge global finance changes. I mean, it's bad everywhere, ladies and gentlemen, and who would have ever thought they would have been so explicit in what they're saying? But the average person, I dare say, does not understand how bad it is. Let's go back to our callers. We're going to keep Bob Chapman on through the next part of the hour, if it's possible, with him, because we got so many callers lined up to talk to him. Renee in North Carolina, you're on with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please.
Most people have not had the experience of trying to report real crime with real evidence to one of these federal agencies. So they don't really realize that they're not there to help you or to fight crime. They're there to kind of as graciously as they can get rid of you. Now, this is becoming more obvious. I've heard Bob talk in the past about how the SEC generally harassed the smaller brokers, not the big boys, almost to help them eliminate the competition. Now, also what's coming to light is how that guy, Markopolis, had been trying to report the Madoff scandal for years. Now, I saw over the weekend that Kucinich was sending a letter to the head of the new head, that woman that's head of the SEC, asking her for the information on who ordered the stand down on that Stanford guy with the new banking scandal with Antigua Bank and stuff. So the thing is, you know, people like Bob Chapman need to pull all this information together so people can see it's not this just one bad apple or we screwed up this one time, but that there is a pattern. And I'd like to
Renee, I don't think
on
there's
this.
any question. If you read his newsletter, have you read his newsletter?
No.
Oh, he pulls it together. What are you waiting for to get a copy of it? It's free. Get a copy.
Well, can we discuss it now?
Let me go to Bob Chapman. Bob, your response?
You answered her. That's the way to do it. We have it all in there.
Yeah, he puts it together, I guarantee you. Hey, thank you. I've got to move on, Renee. Thank you for the phone call. Jane in PA, you're on with Bob Chapman. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning, Joyce.
Morning.
I'm calling to thank Bob Chapman for all of his advice. During the last probably 6 to 9 months, my husband and I had Fulton Financial stocks, which are a bank. The only way we had obtained them was through family. They had been given to my husband as gifts and all that because we never were into the stock market. But anyway, we sold those stocks, and by the way, we took a loss of $50,000 on them.
Whoa.
Compared to what they had been a few years ago. Too bad we didn't listen to Melody Cedarstrom's program before, and I thank you for having Bob on every week as well. Well, anyway, we took his advice. We sold them for $12 and something a share, and now they are down to $5.
Oh, my goodness.
And some cents a share. So we've been wanting to thank you, Bob, for so long, and we do listen to you 3 times a week, and I even stayed home this morning from a sweatshirt factory, and I was going to go buy some things to have on hand, and I stayed home to listen to you. That's how important you are to us.
Wow.
We thank you for
Thank
the
you very,
advice.
very much. And
thank you, Jane. Thank you for that.
I'm happy I was able to help, and if you're not a subscriber, please be one.
That's right.
All right, that said, we've got to take our top of the hour break. Isn't that nice? We got to not the break, I'm just saying the caller. We'll be back a minute and 10 seconds with hour number 3 of today's Monday installment, and exercise and thinking outside of the corporate controlled cage. This is Dave.
Enjoy.
Be right back with more of your calls and Bob Chapman, and also testimonies in the next hour. Stay with us.